I'm Vekunt. On behalf of the Global Institute for Circular Economy and Sustainable Development Goals, I'd like to welcome you to this webinar, Circular Cities, Green Your Cities, on 18th February 2022. Please note that this webinar will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube. A brief introduction about our organization. Global Institute for Circular Economy and Sustainable Development Goals, or ICE and SDGs for short, is an international think tank headquartered in Hyderabad, India, having associates in Brussels and Vienna, the European Union, and Colombia, South America. We aim for the advancement of science and technology through new age research and development, while innovating and spurring innovation to foster good governance and support businesses for the social good. ICE and SDG serves for enabling businesses and organizations to turn zero waste, zero carbon, and carbon neutral. We implement capacity building programs and awareness campaigns, and provide advisory services to facilitate the transition from a linear to a circular economy. ICE and SDGs has trained over 400 plus individuals and organizations from all over the globe, spanning over 50 countries from Asia, Europe, Africa, South America, and North America, for the implementation of circular economy in their organizations. ICE and SDGs, in association with Climate KIC Europe, conducted Climathon for startups and has since mentored 37 plus circular economy and sustainability startups from India, Canada, Bangladesh, and other countries. In 2021, ICE and SDGs developed the International Alliance on Circular Economy and Sustainable Development Goals, bringing top government officials, funding agencies, organizations, businesses, international experts from European Union and SAARC countries on one platform to march together to meet the UN Global Goals SDG 2030. ICE and SDGs is also an advisor and part of the Committee on Circular Economy, Niti Aayog, Government of India. Our session today will be moderated by Dr. Shalini Sharma. Dr. Shalini Sharma is the co-founder and CEO of Sanshodhan and founder of this organization, Global Institute for Circular Economy and Sustainable Development Goals. She innovated the first tech-based circular economy platform for e-waste and plastic waste management sector, and has continued to work on development of digital circular economy models for other sectors and circular cities. During her tenure with the CII, Dr. Sharma served as a consultant to businesses, industry clusters, state governments, and led projects like low carbon development pathways and e-waste management policies for the state government of Telangana, greenhouse gas accounting of Orissa, India Greenhouse Gas Program, and serve for the development of industry and investment policies for few state governments of India. Apart from that, we also have another update about our organization. And for that, I'd like to hand over the platform to Dr. Shalini Sharma.
Thank you, Vakunt. A little bit of introduction Vakunt has already provided. A bit of good news that I will provide about the organization that has just happened 2 days back, that now the Global Institute for Circular Economy and SDGs is the member of the technical working group of Industrial Deep Decarbonization Initiative by UNIDO. This in short is called as IDDI. That is an initiative launched at the 12th meeting of Clean Energy Ministerial in June 2021, aiming to facilitate the creation of policy that enables industrial decarbonization by stimulating the market for the low carbon materials. UNIDO is now leading it in another 5-6 countries as such. There are various technical groups having the international experts. Global Institute for Circular Economy and SDGs is having a pleasure and to contribute to their technical expertise to the international initiative led by the ministries of 5 countries across in the leadership of UNIDO. So this was our update, and we would like to put it in the record. Over to Vakunt.
Before we start the sessions for today, I'd like to introduce our speakers, Mr. Akhilesh Mohan and Mr. Devang Seth. Mr. Akhilesh Mohan is the Assistant General Manager at Recity Network India. He is an urban planning professional with over 10 years of experience in sustainability projects. Mr. Mohan is currently managing a portfolio of 18 crores across 7 cities pan-India. He is experienced in CSR donor management and has been instrumental in successfully raising funds for infrastructure development. He has conducted technical assessments of vendors, transaction advisories, and development of business models for circular cities. He also has operational experience in program management with strong liaising experience with local and state government departments and ministries, coupled with project strategy and planning expertise. Mr. Mohan's topic for the day will be cross-value chain approach to tackling plastic waste in cities. Our second speaker for the day is Mr. Devang Seth. He is a sustainability professional who has multiple years of experience working in circular economy with organizations like the United Nations Development Programs and Coca-Cola. He specializes in plastic recycling and extended producer responsibility initiatives. He is currently pursuing his MBA from Richard Ivey Business School and intends on getting back into the industry thereafter. Mr. Devang Seth's topic for the day will be plastic recycling with corporates, manufacturers, and their relationships with urban local bodies. And with that, I'd like to invite our first speaker for the day, Mr. Akhilesh Mohan. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Vaikund. Just give me a second. I'll just pull out my presentation. Let me know when you're able to see this.
It's visible.
All right. First of all, I'd like to thank you for providing me with this sort of an opportunity to be a part of this forum and discussing about circular cities and the work that we do. Today's conversation, I'm focusing towards providing an understanding about the cross value chain approach that we are undertaking for tackling the plastic waste problem in India. While it is a known fact that our search for better opportunity and our quality opportunity for better quality of living has drove us closer to cities. In this pursuit, however, the resources have depleted and consumption rates have gone very high, and we have created a monster out of waste generation right now. For me, waste is nothing but inefficient management of resources. So when I say that, let's understand this a little bit more deeper. So if you're taking an example of India, of about 62 million metric tons of waste is getting generated, of which only 70% is collected and remaining gets littered. And of the 70% collected, only 35% gets processed. The balance is, however, getting littered and reaches to our oceans and environmentally sensitive areas. Although we say that India recycling rate is around 70%, what happens to the non-recycling waste plastic is is something which is unknown. Currently, it ends up in as marine litters and mountain litters. What happens to those 1.5 million metric tons of waste that gets deposited there? And what happens to those waste pickers who are exposed to the hazardous waste that plastic waste creates? The distressed, and not just that about the plastic waste. There is a lot of distress that has been created with respect to the urban local bodies for managing this humongous amount of waste that is getting generated, because of which, and that is leading to landfilling. The children and the citizen of the city are also affected quite heavily. So although all this feels so overwhelming, ReCity has been working towards achieving three major impact areas that is causing bottlenecks in the system. We have been and as I mentioned, this is the waste management problem is causing a lot of distress in the municipalities. We also have a lot of problem solving that needs to be done to improve the efficiencies of the municipalities. So ReCity has been working towards achieving three major outcomes impact in the impact area that is causing bottlenecks in the system. One is by diverting waste from landfill, sustainable developing business model that is more efficient and sustainable for the municipalities, and professionalize the waste workers who are at the crux or the core of the ecosystem. When we talk about the plastic waste value chain, it is divided into three broad categories: manufacturing, distribution, and post-consumer plastic waste. ReCity delivers value through its products and services for the entire value chain. But for today, let's discuss on the focus on the problem solving method adopted in cities. As it is a known fact that due to inadequate infrastructure and and the resources, most often the known know-how, etc., there is a need for support of streamlining that is required for the municipalities. The digitization, we start off with the digitization of the city fabric that enables the looping in on of municipal services, fixing the gaps and monitoring them. The geospatial data helps us to understand and rationalize and quantify the gaps and support in the data driven decision making and fundraising for the infrastructure gaps that we have. Along with when I say digitizing this entire process, it also means by digitizing the property units to enable geospatialization of the property units, and also the each element in the supply chain, starting with infrastructure, waste infrastructure, meaning vehicles, transfer points, and also the processing facilities inside the city. Once the right operating procedure is envisaged and they are regularly monitored, we have been able to track the levels of the source segregation at households, collection and transfer points, and transportation of the source from source to end of life through seamless digital method. Some of the key challenges that we have also gone through and understood is that there is a lot of leakages that is being caused to rampant caused due to rampant littering and informal waste picking, which leads to depreciation of the value of the waste as a whole. Through our citizen awareness programs, we have been able to work on their consumption behavior and ensure environmental awareness and support them with grievance redressal for better service delivery. The primary stakeholder at the primary stakeholder at the core of the ecosystem are the waste workers. Although we know that digitizing this entire ecosystem is not really going to solve the problem as a whole, it is also necessary to intervene into the workforce as well. For doing this, we created a functional and thriving ecosystem. It is necessary to provide them with the right accesses to improved working conditions and skills. We have all seen how they have emerged as champions, as frontline workers during the pandemic. So with the holistic program of skill development and livelihood enhancement and improved life chances of waste workers, the entire supply chain is reinforced. Through all of these initiatives, we have not only reduced the littering problems, but also enabled cities to go from 0 to 75% source segregation in 3 years, while also protecting the environment from 53,000 metric tons of non-recyclable waste and contributing to the plastic patch in the ocean. Improve the livelihood of 2,700 waste workers, and bring about economic resilience in cities. Our vision is to create a skilled workforce that ensures performance, establish traceability for transparency, deliver efficiency in ecosystem for sustainability, bring about environmental pollution caused due to waste, implement circular governance for reporting and compliance, and through awareness programs invest into responsible consumption. Last but not the least, by following sustainable development goals, develop a thriving circular cities. So that is basically what I wanted to discuss. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Akhilesh. Dr. Shalini, do we have any questions?
Not now. I think we will take all the questions at the end.
Okay, sure. So I'd like to hand it over to Mr. Devang Seth for the next session.
Thank you, Vaikund, and the great presentation by Akhilesh. It's a pleasure to be here. So I do not have a presentation prepared, but I have some talking points that I'd like to discuss. Just a little bit about my experience and a little bit on the topic. To give a background about myself, I've been working in the circular economy space since the last 5 years. I started with a brand owner called Coca-Cola, who had recently started the extended producer responsibility initiative. So I was managing that with them. And then post that, I started working with the United Nations Development Program Circular Economy Initiative, which was working with a lot of corporates and we were doing their handling their EPR for them in multiple cities. And that was a great model that was showcased by Akhilesh in the previous session. So just to give you a little bit of background about my experience and the things that I've seen, and maybe this will be great insight for people who want to work in the circular economy space, specifically in plastic recycling. I wanted to talk about the importance of what the government and the urban local bodies play when it comes to setting up this value chain in the system. As we know, plastic recycling, waste management is very informal in India, and then it's now our vision to formalize the informal supply chain. So therefore, every facet plays an important role when working in a different city and a municipality, starting from your citizens, your corporate organizations, your government, yeah, even your waste pickers or garbage haulers. It's very important for them to be on the same page. Now, developing a socio-economic model in a in a city is very important. Just as even Mr. Akhilesh had mentioned that it's important to actually generate that knowledge for the waste because it's a very informal chain, and the government plays a very important role. India has one of the largest cleanliness surveys called the Swachhta Sarvekshan, and now due to the Swachhta Sarvekshan, all cities are now striving to become more clean, and that involves a lot of recycling. And one of the key points that you can create in this Swachhta Sarvekshan is setting up material recovery centers. And therefore, in the last 3 to 4 years, with the new PWM rules, the plastic waste management rules, and the extended producer responsibility compliances on the corporates, there's been a lot of thriving material recovery centers across many different cities, and a lot of organizations now are working towards this cause. Therefore, it's always important to work in that space, and the local urban body members, the ministries, as well as Niti Aayog. I think they've done a great job to set up this now infrastructure and this governance and compliance mechanism that is now mandated to do recycling in a city. Now, speaking about since because of the Swachhta Sarvekshan, it's always important to get the buy-in of the local government when you're setting up a material recovery center in the city. You have to get the proper compliances. So yeah, that's a little bit about how important it is to get that government buy-in. And of course, there were the new PWM rules also, which were actually released today morning in India. So that's a very interesting read for anyone who wants to really learn about the various facets of plastics and what can be done with regards to the recycling. And another thing is recyclers play such an important role, because once all the material is collected in a city, it's very important for them to get them recycled properly and then sent back to the corporates. We've heard about corporate social responsibility, where corporates are working, 2% of their annual profits is invested into doing good for the community. But the extended producer responsibility law moves way beyond that. Now the corporates are mandated by the government to recycle all the material that they're actually producing post consumer. And I think it's the new EPR laws are also mandating that 100% recycling in the next 4 years for all the corporates. So that's so much tonnage of plastic that has a potential to be recycled, and it's very important for the government to continue to be compliant and govern this own mechanism. And I think it's been very great. We've seen a boom on recycling last 4-5 years, and I've just been a part of that whole experience. So yeah, just a little bit about the importance and just fundamentals of working in a ULB. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Seth, and I'd like to hand it over to Dr. Shalini Sharma for the questions.
So I would like to go a little bit to the layman understanding, because now we are talking about the circular cities, and many of them, they don't understand about the plastic waste management rules, other than the industries for sure. As Devang has just finished his version, I would like to put the first question to Devang about that. How do you relate these plastic waste management rules that are released by Government of India to the circularity of the cities?
That's a great question. So I'm going to speak specifically with regards to plastic recycling. Now with the rules, they have, I think it's annexure 1 or 2, section 2 or something, which is talking about extended producer responsibility rules. So the extended producer responsibility rules, if I'll say it in a layman, mandates that if an organization, supposing which is making plastic bottles, is creating plastic bottles, then it is coming to the consumer. The consumer is drinking some liquid outside the plastic bottles, and then he is throwing it in the dumpster. Now, the plastic waste management rules and the EPR rules mandate the corporate to ensure that this plastic, once it's dumped after use in a garbage in a city, it needs to come back into the supply chain. It needs to be picked up, it needs to be collected, it needs to be recycled, and needs to be used again in a very sustainable way. So due to these extended producer responsibility rules, the government is now telling companies, corporates, and organizations that any waste, plastic waste, or any other type of waste which is being dumped in a city, it is important to create a circle. First, the waste is getting into a landfill. This is linear. Then it is creating a circle. So you are throwing this waste, it is getting recycled, and then the waste is getting recycled sustainably and coming back to the corporate. So due to the various supply chain models of waste management, garbage pickup, recycling in a city, the model which Mr. Akhilesh also was showing, due to successful models like this, cities are now becoming circular because of the compliance that is being shown by the government. And it's a very great job that the government is doing. Yes.
Thank you, Devang. I will come back to you. The next question, I'm taking the conversation a little bit further where you have left about how the circularity for plastics can work for the cities. So that is what Akhilesh Mohan's organization is doing. So I will take next question to Akhilesh about the same process which just Devang said. You are working in this area, Akhilesh. So what were the issues or the challenges you faced when you started this initiative? Say, which was the first city where you started this initiative, and what were the challenges you faced at the initial stage, and when really you saw the stability coming in?
All right. So I'd like to draw a bit of a reference with respect to the kind of work that we used to do earlier on. So to give you a perspective as to how we have transformed over the period of past 4 to 5 years now. So the point where we started off, we imagined that source segregation could solve all the problems, where we initiated with behavioral change and awareness programs across the city. We thought that probably if the municipality is aligned to the thought process of ensuring segregation at source, then probably the amount of waste that is getting collected can actually be streamlined towards processing. So that is what the initial thought that we were in, but we were completely flawed and we were completely wrong in thinking like that. So then we changed our ideologies a little bit, and we wanted to get into the crux of this, where we realized that unless and until the workforce is empowered, unless and until there is stable infrastructure setup which is there for the municipality, and there is a regular thought process that we have to problem solve on a regular basis, and this entire system has to be also digitally driven for monitoring on a regular basis. So to give you an example, the waste workers don't know what their KRAs are, or the officers sitting at the municipalities do not know what their KRAs are. For them to understand about how to problem solve, the data was very much important at that point in time. and the data was not readily available. It was necessary for us to digitize that entire city to enable or start seeing the kind of problems that exist in granularity. So that is where we initiated with digitizing that entire city through a QR code system over the entire property units, the bulk waste generators, and also digitizing the infrastructure that the municipality had. That gave us a transparent method in which we could, or a transparent lens through which we could, gauge the performance of the city. Through that sort of an understanding, we realized that there are the gaps that needs to be addressed from time to time needs to also have certain fundings that are to be provided. Say for example, most often than not, vehicles are not available on a regular basis for making the collection systems collection from door to door. Sometimes the staff is not ample enough. Sometimes the infrastructure that is available is not of that capacity that can actually entail the entire capacity of the city. So there are leakages in the entire supply chain, which causes a lot of trouble in the long run. So more often than that, even the people working in this sector are not really empowered or given the right accesses or recognition from time to time. They are like, they are shadow workers, meaning that they wouldn't want to be seen in the city. So from that realization, we thought that it is important not just to give them the right accesses, but also a better livelihood opportunity and also better quality of living for them. It is necessary that we upscale or upskill the capacities of the workers there, and also ensure there is digital education that is provided to them, and which can support us in understanding what is the segregation levels, collection levels, and tap into the leakages that are happening. Plastic waste, so to say, can help in the circularity in the city if the value is retained. If the value of the plastic waste is gone through leakages, it becomes very difficult for the municipalities to take the right actions and provide right support through infrastructure. The leakages are caused most often because the right incentives are not reaching the waste workers or the workers who are in this entire profession. So, so different initiatives were carried out to ensure that they are coming up to the mark where they are able to deliver their KRAs on time and also able to monitor for us. So even when ReCity enters into a city, we know for a fact that it is only a finite amount of years that we can be there in that city. We will have to exit out of the city one day. So sustainability becomes another important factor for ensuring the circularity of this. So having said that, once the incentivized model is rolled out, it ensures that the right amount of recyclates are procured from the city. The recyclates then go to the packaging or the right end of life, not end of life, but then the right recyclers who then repurposes it into a different product altogether, which comes back into the city. So that is how we can, in a nutshell, in a very brief terms, if I can tell you, how the circular economy is maintained in the city. We also saw that there were challenges with respect to pandemic, when the recycling industry was completely halted. There was no market supply which was there, and during that time we tried to create a kind of a self-help group with the waste workers, who then started who were provided with the right infrastructure to convert low value plastic waste into products which could be sold in the city itself. So those products gave them an opportunity for better livelihood and also provide the city with a circular sort of a nature. So that is how we we went on innovating, and and how data also has supported us in many ways to problem solve.
Right, right. So it's a kind of an evolution. You started somewhere and then you looked holistically and then you designed the solutions accordingly. I think that's a great approach. Over to Devang, because Devang is now in another country, and we have seen that Canada has also come up with various circular economy initiatives, and they are also trying to set up some system for the circular cities. As Akhilesh was saying, that the sustainability of cities is very, very important. So, Devang, I would like to ask you one question. If you can share some of your experiences from Canada or the city where you are living in the same domain, that what exactly is happening there, and the circular economy forums in Canada, what they are looking for.
Yes, definitely. Although I've been here just 1 month, I've, of course, uh, been learning a little bit about how its circular economy initiatives are here. But just to get back and just pick up from the last conversation as well, working in a lot of material recovery centers and helping set up these supply chains in India as well, there were actually a lot of challenges. And I would also like to share a few challenges that we faced. I think the most important is partnerships to create the entire, this entire value chain. Starting with the governments, it's sometimes a little difficult to make them understand what the sort of importance of what we're trying to do. And of course, incentivization of the waste pickers is very important, because they're used to doing something which is more of a cash-based economy. So when you're talking about formalizing the informal, you're talking about ID cards, you're talking about bank accounts, you're talking about education for children. Sometimes that barrier is there with the informal sector. We have to empower them. So in our organization, what we did was, in our projects, rather than calling them waste pickers or garbage collectors, we empowered them by calling them Safai Sathis, our friends in cleanliness. We gave them ID cards with the government. That empowered them to sort of start working more. They started getting bank accounts, saving as well. And definitely having the right sort of recyclers in the city is very important, which, closer to the center where you're collecting all the waste, so that, there's efficiency in logistics, you're getting the recyclers back in time. So these are the few challenges, maintaining a supply chain. And this comes to the point of SDG number 17, which is the partnership for the goals. So this is a SDG that is very important. Also, when you're talking about the pandemic, during the pandemic, people are not stepping out as well. And more than just plastics, there was a lot of hazardous waste which was coming out. And that's why the frontline workers is more important. They stepped out and they faced the pandemic, the sanitation and cleanliness workers, Safai Sathis. So they put themselves at risk. Source segregation, and this is something that I'm going to come to with the reference to Canada, is very important. It's the most important thing. The moment you mix dry and wet waste, you're contaminating the plastic. The calorific value is reduced. You cannot recycle it. It will end up in the landfill, or you will incinerate it in India. However, when you come to Canada, what I have noticed is there's a lot of awareness with regards to source segregation at the source in households. And what is happening is, just like in India as well, there are a lot of penalties which are which people find if certain RWAs are not working in source segregation. Over here also there are very heavy fines. So over in India we have 3 different dustbins. There are 3 different dustbins here as well. You have your recyclables, and this includes cardboard, plastic, thermocol, paper, glass bottles, aluminium, steel, and tin. And then you have your wet waste, and then you have something called your hazardous waste, obviously. Now all the plastic is, now you have to maintain 3 dustbins in at your household, otherwise you are fined heavily, and in dollars, so it hurts a little more. So then after that, every building, so you don't have any garbage collector here, just like it's such a big economy in India, you have to do it yourself. So there are trash chutes So what you do is there's a huge pipeline which is along the building. So you go and you throw your waste in the pipeline, and it comes down in a dumpster, and then the garbage man picks it up and takes it to a material recovery center here as well, and where it is segregated properly. It's a little bit more formalized as well, because there's the whole do-it-yourself attitude. So that gives you a little bit of motivation as well, because you're heavily penalized. There's a lot of incentivization as well. Over here, there's a lot of waste to energy as well as biogas, and people are really into recycling and sustainable living here. And brand awareness over here is, in Canada as well, is very important. Now people are now branding organizations, be it like you can talk about, say, clothing, you can talk about plastic products. Calling it a self-sustainable product is something that people really resonate with. There have been a lot of studies that 50% people over here, the target audience, want to purchase products that are where companies are using recycling methods or sustainable methods. So this really drives consumer behavior here as well, and that's why sustainable circular economy practices are maintained here. And this also goes for e-waste and C&D waste here. It's managed well. Yeah.
Wonderful. I think these kind of practices are also required in India and other developing countries. And specifically, if we talk about the source segregation, that is something really going to make a whole difference. So I think, Vakun, do you have any questions at this point of time?
None from my end.
Okay. So not taking much more time from you, I think let's come to the end of the webinar. If you would like to share your closing statement, and going to Akhilesh Mohan and then to Devang, if you would like to say one sentence to the cities or city administration, what would that be?
I would like to say that in order to create a circular economy, it is necessary to develop plastic or create plastic or keep plastic in the economy and out of the environment. So that will solve the problem and also ensure that there is circularity in the cities.
Right, Devang, thank you. Right, Akhilesh, thank you so much. Over to Devang.
No, I agree with that statement. I think it's important to understand that plastic is value, and there are people who are working with this value. Important to not trash and important to recycle. I think that's very important, and please source segregate at home. Yes.
Right. Thank you, Devang. Thank you so much. I think with this, we are at the end of this webinar. Over to Vakun to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Shah, Institute for Circular Economy and Sustainable Development Goals. I'd like to thank our guest speakers, Mr. Akhilesh Mohan and Mr. Devang Seth, for your very thought-provoking sessions. And a special thank you to Devang for waking up so early in the morning and joining us from Toronto. And last but not the least, I'd just like to thank everyone who's going to be watching this as well online, because I'm sure you'll gain a lot of knowledge from this, and you will learn how to implement circularity in your own cities, or at least get a boost or a startup for it. So thank you once again for being a part of this webinar. And with that, I'd like to close this webinar, Circular Cities, Green Your Cities, on 18th February 2022.